Texas Hold'em is one of the most popular games in poker today, and it's played in card rooms all over the world and home games all over also. And I just want to go over the rules of Texas Hold'em with you. First, you need a table, get some players with you, the first thing that we do, you either put up an ante or a blind. Basically, there are two ways of basically forcing action. An ante is basically where every player at the game would put in a certain amount, in this case $5, that automatically goes in the pot. All right? And blinds is a little different, where two people, next to the button, which I'll explain that in a second, they would put, one small one and one big one. This is to just make sure that there's something going on in every hand, because otherwise, if people don't like the hands and everybody just keeps folding, no money changes, and it's kind of boring that way. But the dealer button, if you're in a home game, you could play this with your friends, and generally, the deck would be passed around from player to player to player, all right, and everybody would have a chance to deal. In games where you got dedicated folks, like myself, then the dealer represents, that deck being in the player's hand, and then the dealer takes care of all the action. So here, we're going to have, blinds of 5 and 10. Players get 2 cards dealt face down. Dealer doesn't play. Right? And then everybody would check their hands according to, they would make their bets or decisions based on, what their hand strength was. So the big blind, that's the minimum that people would have to bet to commit, right? So here, say they want to bet 10. This guy doesn't want to play for whatever reason, so he folds the cards. They come in my way, right? Then he wants to bet, right? And now, as the big blind, he already had $10 in. He has the option, he could check, which is basically making an additional bet of 0, or he can raise, and we'll go into raising in the next hand, in like the next round here, right? So he decides to check. This money goes into the pot. One card gets burned. It's just a security thing. Back in the days of poker, where people, like in the Wild West, when people used to cheat, and they'd be like dealing from like the bottom of the deck and things like that. The card burned on the top. It makes it a little harder for somebody to cheat at the game, right? So that's just a security measure that's been added to every game. And then 3 cards are dealt face up. Right, this is a flop, community cards for all the players. And if, I don't see what these guys have here, but say if the gentleman here has got a pair of 4, it's got a 4, he now has a pair of 4s. If the person here has got a queen, he now has a pair of queens. If he's got a jack and a 4, he now has 2 pair. So, with the community cards there, now they have the option they can bet again. Say this guy wants to bet 10, right? And now he can bet or he can fold. And say he decides to raise. So now he's going to tell everybody at the table he's raising, right? And then he wants to put out 20, right? So now the player here now has to either put in 20 or fold, and now the gentleman here has to put at least 10 or fold. So say he decides to call, which is matching the 20, and the player here decides to do the same. So then this goes in the pot as well. Another card gets burned. And you got the 4th card. This is called the turn. Right? And it's another community card that everybody at the table can use. Let's say for the purposes here that everybody just decides to check. Right? So, everybody wants to check. He checks, so he bets nothing, and then they're just kind of following along. So in the case that nobody bets, then you got the 5th card, which is called the river. Right? And that's it for me in the cards. Then players get an option that they could check or bet. So say somebody wants to bet 10, and let's just say that these 2 guys decide to call. This money goes into the pot, and now the players here get to show their hands. In this case, he's got an 8 and a 2, so he doesn't make any pairs. All right. And the case here, he's got an ace. But then, he's just basically playing for a high card because he doesn't have a pair. Then the player here has got a pair of 9s. So this would be the best 5-card hand he could make with the pair of 9s, ace, queen, jack. The cards would be swept up, pot would be shipped to the player. Then the button goes to the next player here, and then play would continue. And that's how you play Hold'em.